Alright, another day of OTAs and the defense dominated again. But why did Quinyon Mitchell call out AJ Brown, and what does that say about his confidence? Plus, Kelee Ringo is really confident in taking his game to the next level, while Vic Fangio is throwing just about everything at Jalen Hurts. Also, Isaiah Rodgers is getting some action in the Eagles' new-look kick return. And CJ Gardner-Johnson continues to set the tone, and so does Jalen Carter, so let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? Do me a favor and hit that like button, and then let's jump into Eagles OTAs Day 2. With the Birds back in action since thankfully the media has access all week. So even though the fellas aren't in pads and it's limited on-field work, at least we're getting a more thorough analysis of how the guys are playing. And for that matter, how the coaches are coaching. Like honestly, we knew it'd be better than last year, but it was refreshing to hear BG call it like it was.
I really think that last year, we just didn't, that's what we didn't have. We didn't have all the right coaches in the right position, I would say. And, you could just see the guys just truly believing in what we got going on. And I'm excited for the young guys that just came in and new rookies coming in, because they really going to get a good shot at a good taste of what it really is to be in the NFL.
Isn't it nice to at least hear that for once? I mean, sure, talk is cheap, and realistically, it only really matters about what the guys actually do on the field when we get to the regular season. But still, the fact that Fangio's defense continues to dominate OTAs can't be overlooked, as Devin White added a sack of Jalen Hurts to his stats after intercepting QB1 on the first day of mandatory OTAs. Which I gotta say is definitely promising, and he's reportedly looked as quick and fast as ever. And oh, by the way, just absolutely loving Fangio's defense.
For me personally, it's been very fun, just coming in and obviously gaining those guys' trust that's been here, and obviously the new guys as well. Playing with a lot of dogs, a lot of highly touted players that's coming out of college or that have been in the league. You got the young guys, you got the older guys like, Slay, a couple of those guys who's been doing it for a long time. And I think it's a mixture of both worlds, all over the field. And I think, just having that young leadership, that older leadership, and the middle leadership, I feel like we could be special together. And I think that's kind of been like the carryover into OTAs and minicamp, is just having fun, and having an identity and a swagger about ourselves. He's throwing a lot at us right now. So just him being a complicated guy with his scheme, trying to just be expansion. I think he's doing a great job with mixing it up, adding new things, and, just keeping it coming.
It's not really a surprise to hear that, especially because the DC mentioned he'd be throwing the entire kitchen sink at the defense in practice. Now, unfortunately, James Bradberry wasn't able to partake in that cram session despite recently moving to safety. Because remember, he got injured in the team drill on day 1 and ended up being held out of practice, and then was held out again today. Of course, say whatever you will about JB, but there were quite a bit of comments that started circulating about JB faking the injury.
Question: may I investigate?
Yeah, drop what you're doing. Make this a priority.
Look, I don't know if he did and didn't. It wouldn't be surprising if he tried to figure out a way to avoid paying the $100,000 fine and missing practice by unintentionally or maybe faking an injury, but still, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually got injured. Who knows? It could be totally legit, but I'm not going to play that game. I'm really not worried either way. Because after all, the defense and especially the secondary has been playing lights out, which is something Kelee Ringo credits to Fangio along with his own improvement this season.
Man, huge. I feel like the best thing that can help you with that is definitely reps, so having a year under my belt has definitely helped me be able to be more calm with my play, and I'm also just seeing what offense they're doing against me and strategies and things like that.
What are the differences that you notice in your own game from year 1 to year 2?
I would say a little bit more my patience, my process in the game. When the ball's high, I'm not having to think as much as I used to. So I feel like that just slows the game a lot more for me. So you're able to play faster when you think less.
Ringo kind of gets forgotten at times. I mean, I get it with all the corners on the roster and with the guys constantly making plays. Plus, Kelee missed the first week of OTAs. But come on, this dude was drafted before he turned 21. And he's literally still one of the youngest players on the entire roster. Except now he's gotten real experience playing in the NFL. For real, his daily competitions with AJ Brown is why Swole Batman believes Keelee's taking his game to the next level this season.
Kelee is difficult at times, going against, because you go against him. I go against him a lot. He's definitely growing. You can see a different step with him. I'm not gonna put too much pressure on him up here, but you definitely see a different step with him, and he's hungry. He's competing at a high level.
Obviously, if AJ's saying that about a guy, it means something. Now sure, that's not the first time 11's given praise to Ringo, since remember, late last season, Swole Batman was saying Kelee had all pro potential, it was just that he needed to find a different place mentally. Of course, time will tell if Ringo ends up making that leap, but you can't tell me that those constant one-on-ones with AJ doesn't really help. I mean, seriously, it's not like AJ's lacking with welcome to the NFL moments. You know, like whenever he baptized Commanders rookie Emmanuel Forbes last season and then handed him a souvenir afterward. I mean, that actually put Forbes on a crash course the remainder of the season. And who knows, Forbes may end up being better for it. But calling out AJ takes some serious confidence. Or maybe borderline foolishness, although Quinyon Mitchell was not afraid to talk some trash.
Q doesn't talk as much, guys. I don't think y'all know that. He doesn't really say anything. And the first words I heard from him, it was like, hey, that route was trash. I said, what? I said, you don't even talk and you talking trash. And so it was funny. It was funny to hear from him, you know. And I told him, I said, all right, I like to see that. You know, I want to see you step up because he's not going to be playing against me. He's going to be playing against other guys. And, you know, I want to see him, you know, hold his own. You know, and I told him, I said, all right, you took the first step. But I said, now you got to back it up. You got to walk that walk. And I've been looking forward to getting some reps against him, you know, so.
That has the look of AJ teaching the rook a lesson. I mean, in a positive way, obviously. However, there's no denying Q's got some dog in him. And perhaps is taking a page from CJ/GJ's book, with the safety saying he didn't come back to be liked, but to be a tone setter. Exactly. Remember, that's what B-Doc said. That's what all of us have expected. I mean, having CJ on this defense makes it completely different. But like we know, that's a good thing to be able to go up against AJ and Avonte, especially with Kellen Moore's offense giving the wideouts more freedom and creativity.
When it comes to certain routes, trusting each other, me and Jalen, Smitty, everybody on the field, just trusting each other to be on the same page, and you know, to make sure you at the spot when it's time. You know, I think that's a pretty good thing, pretty fun thing for a wide receiver too.
Love it. It's just that unfortunately that didn't happen on day 2, with Jalen Hurts having one of the worst days open to the media so far, and throwing an interception right to Reed Blankenship.
I'm blind.
Okay, again, this is OTAs, and this is also what Bobby King called guys playing in pajamas, so it's not really that big of a deal. Like, come on, I mean, I'd rather get the miscommunication and the errors and everything else out of the way now rather than during the regular season. Plus, I'm a big fan of QB coach Doug Nussmeier stopping practice to go over fundamentals if he doesn't see something right. And again, Jalen's going to be fine, but he did nearly throw another interception to Cooper Dejean on a bad throw that almost ended up being a one-hander. But apparently after the Rook dropped the pick, then CJ Gardner-Johnson let Dejean hear about it. By the way, I don't know if it's the vision for Jalen or his timing's off or just the defense playing really well, but you still have to give a lot of credit to the defense. With John McMullen sharing that Fangio continually dialed up new looks to confuse the offense like a dime package with Slay, Ringo, Maddox, and Mitchell in there along with Zack Baun as the lone linebacker. Or E.J. Smith added that Q was even used as a pseudo linebacker at times. Not exactly sure what that is, but personally I don't want Q there very often, however just to have versatile weapons is unreal. Oh yeah, that's not to mention Isaiah Rodgers, who continues to only be used on the outside, and this time got the start with the ones while locking up receivers. But that wasn't the only area the Birds looked to utilize Rodgers, with Brandon Lee Gowton noting special teams coach Michael Clay showing the new look kickoff format for the first time, as Rodgers was one of the kick returners getting reps. Because remember, the shorter kickoffs mean guys are definitely going to have more opportunities to find a crease and then make the team pay. Plus, with it being the first year for the NFL to enact the new rules, it's fair to assume we're going to see some pretty drastic discrepancies on average starting position. After all, everyone's kind of learning it together, plus if you can find any slight leg up on the competition, then you might as well take advantage of it. So why not put a dude who's got 4.2 speed back there and make him pay? Also, don't forget that Isaiah already said he's up for the job. You know, since he's got 61 kick returns in his career, including a 101-yard touchdown and 6 other 40-yard plus returns. Just FYI, I should also mention that Rodgers was part of a plethora of other guys getting reps, so it'll be interesting to see who gets involved moving forward. I mean, at least unlike past seasons, it's going to be exciting. Like heck, that's why you've got teams like the Chiefs who signed former rugby superstar Louis Rees-Zammit for his potential and versatility. And then to take it a step further, Kansas City may even remove Harrison Butker from kickoffs altogether and instead go with safety Justin Reed, since, you know, he's got experience kicking and is a much more sure tackler. Because like I just said, we're guaranteed to get more kickoff returns. And add on top of that the XFL kickoff style resulted in anywhere from 25 to 40% of tackles being made by the kicker, and I don't know that we necessarily want to risk Jake Elliott for that. Granted, based on reports, he was pinning the ball right inside the 5 before it was fielded, so it's nice to have the accuracy. But again, I don't know if it's worth the risk. So just one of those minor things to keep an eye on. Anyway, having said that, I'm curious to know what you guys think about the new NFL kickoff rules as well as who should be the new returner. Let me know in the comments. I suppose John Ross could be an option since he was also fielding kicks. And he's no doubt got the speed, but he actually had one of the best days among the offensive players, with Jeff Kerr sharing that he made a one-handed grab on one play and ran with the first team. And then later beat a DB to get open for a deep shot. Also, another player on the offense who hasn't gotten much action until this practice was Will Shipley, with multiple accounts saying it was for sure the best practice for the Rook, which could be the same for UDFA running back Kendall Milton, as Martin Frank noted his burst of speed while being used in the passing game to make people miss and pick up some extra yards. Of course, naturally, the running game is only going to be as good as the O-line, something that definitely has competition at the right guard spot, with Mekhi Becton making the temporary switch to at least pick up a few extra reps in the new role. And after Lane Johnson spoke highly of Becton's freakish athleticism, Jordan Mailata sounds optimistic as well.
Kai's a great dude, and I think we're pretty lucky to have him on this team. Getting to know Kai has been like pretty easy. I feel like I've known him forever. It's just really easy to get along with him. The guy's really funny, he's smart, very athletic. But then, you know, I don't know. It's just like an old friend. He just came in. I only spoke to the bloke two times before he came to the Eagles, and now we speak every day. So it's good.
How do you do a guard, a position you never played at in the pros?
Mekhi, he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. I mean, you just said it. He's never played guard in the NFL, and you know Stout's doing a great job of, you know, trying to teach him, you know, multiple positions. Stout always talks about value add, and I think he wants that for Mekhi, just to see what else can Mekhi do other than tackle. We know he can play tackle. What else can he bring to the table? And you know, Mekhi's done a great job of just saying yes. He hasn't questioned him. He's never said, I've never done it. He in fact, embraced the opportunity to learn how to play guard. And, you know, when I see things like that from Mekhi, it just makes me want to play next to him if his number was called. You know, because you want guys who are just going to be willing and able to put the team first before their own needs. I think Mekhi does a great job of doing that, even though he has no experience. He's just out here learning. He's grinding. He's chipping away every day, trying to get better at guard. We know he can play tackle.
All right, that's definitely the right mindset to have. Although let me be clear, as if I wasn't on my last video, right guard is clearly Tyler Steen's job to lose. Of course, if he continues to get bowled over like Jalen Carter did at the end of practice, then maybe it won't be, after Jeff Kerr noted that was the play of the day for him. Yet at the same time, this is the bread man we're talking about. You know, the guy who made several dudes look silly while trying to block him, and the reason you had to have so many different double teams. Which is why, personally, I think this is more so just a positive for Steen to get to face JC every single day in practice so that he's ready once the season starts. Alright, having said that, y'all let me know what your biggest positive was from day 2, and then let me know what else you want me to talk about on a future video. Until then, this has been the Philly Special.